more nurturing, if we'd had more nurturing. I think about that too. I think about if I had, as hard as I worked playing sports and what I did, to have a father's validation, how much better I could. I think about that, and that's why I constantly validated my boys and stuff. I'm constantly in their ear. My daughters too. I'm constantly in their ear about, hey, I know like everything, like every sporting event that they do, like when we do stuff, we do 2 and 2. 2 things you did good, 2 things you can improve on. That's everything. We always that's our conversation. Everything we do is let's do 2 and 2 real quick, and then we'll do that, and that's how we go about our day. But I was like, man, I wish I had that, and it sounds like you had that, and that's what was special, to have that feedback from your dad. It don't have to be all this long conversation. Remember, I said how like my father-in-law is that way.
Yep.
He don't.
I remember that.
He doesn't give you all of this information. It's like short and sweet. Now let's go.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Cool about that, man, is the fact that
go,
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I think what's good about that is the fact that Horace talking to 2 and 2 and everything else that was just you were just saying was the fact that man, I'm losing my mind right now. I'm trying to think. I had a point that I was trying to make. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say it was nice is the affirmation that comes from a dad, man. And I think that dads give identity, regardless of who you are. And I think that's biblical as well in saying it that way. Like Jesus was given his identity after he's baptized. His father said, "This is my son in whom I'm well pleased." And I think that's a blessing, man. And I think that as a dad, I think of that often. And I think of being able to validate and affirm my girls, even my wife too, man, because dads give dads give identity.
That's right. It's funny you mention that, because one of the other things too is the fact that you care what your mother says, but I didn't. And if they're listening, obviously this is no disrespect, but I always care what my dad said about a thing, especially the older I got. I cared what my dad said. I'll say this, because I've shared this part of the story, so it's funny. But I remember this was a long time ago, back when they was sort of arguing and fighting. This was before they got saved and all that. And it didn't look like maybe this thing was going to last. And my mom used to be like, man, I don't know, maybe I should leave or whatever. I'm like little, right? And I'm like, yeah, but who's going to cut my hair? Because my dad was also a master barber. She said, I'll find you a barber. I said, who's going to clean my fish tank? We'll find somebody to clean the fish tank. But who's going to do this? Because these were all the things my dad did. And I'm like, yeah, but I still think I want to go with him instead. Because remember, I'm seeing all these guys with the moms and they didn't have the pop. So why would I want to be just like them? I wanted to be different. And so he was the one who was super active. Now, my mom was super active, so she shouldn't be listening to this in any negative way. But it's just that because he was so actively involved with everything and putting some things in play, he didn't really wait. He would wait to find out what we're interested in, but then he would make it happen. And now, okay, we're going to go do this. And Saturday morning, we're going here. And this day, we're going that, and that kind of thing. And I think where guys can, and I think I asked him, what advice would you give? The thing that guys can do today, even if you hadn't gotten any of that, is just find something to get active involved today, right now, whatever that is, at whatever age, whether it's your daughters or sons or whatever.
No, I think that's good.
I think that was super key. What do you guys think about? Because I spent some time purposely on the type of work that he did, the working with the hands and that kind of. What you guys think about that part of it? I was curious about that.
I liked it. I think that it definitely brought out the more of an old school type of feel, as far as a man being almost like having a jack of all trades. But it was not just having a jack of all trades, but he actually took time to learn the craft and doing those different things. I noticed when he said how some of these other guys had the skill set of some of the machine skills ahead of him, but he was top of the class though, because he actually learned exactly what it was. The same time when he was talking about his car, how he said it kept breaking down, and he's like, I'm not giving another $100 up this week. I'm gonna figure it out myself, and then I'll fix it. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's a man, just being responsible like that, man.
I thought about it too, because the $100 in the late '60s, early '70s.
That's a lot of money, man.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Yeah, it ain't no walk in the park. I mean, I respected that too, though. I did. I respected the fact that he was creative, he was innovative, and he was challenging. He was willing to work. A lot of good characteristics, and he was a man. I definitely would have wanted to hear some stories. I had sent you a text. I was like, I would have wanted to know a little bit about those fathers that were Rolling Stones, because that played a major component in some of those kids' lives. Some people, they had their family on this street, and around the corner they had a whole nother family. I was just curious about that type of stuff, because you gotta think. I ain't gonna put, but I know some people, man, that they keep finding out aunts and uncles that they got to this day because they dad was bugging. But so I'm just like, man, just like when you look at and you hear the story a little bit, and I know we press, but it was a fight against a lot of things, and somehow, some way, I ain't saying he handled everything perfect or whatever. That's between him and God, but it appears that he gave his all and his effort, you know what I mean, to honor his family and not bring no shame to his family and just be a man. I respect that. Like, I respect that whole interview. It's a lot more. I would have loved to sit down and ask him a couple of questions. I think that's something that could happen maybe in the future. And at least you ain't got to worry about a whole bunch of fathers being a part of our interview, because there's only one. There's only one.